Hi everyone, it's WELLGARD and this is a brief retelling of the 1983 movie My Tutor. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's roll! The movie begins with several beautiful girls doing aerobics, while at the same time a French exam is taking place in the next room. Bobby sits in class until the very end, but still fails the test without getting the right number of points. The guy blames himself for this, realizing that he won't be able to get into a decent university. His friend supports him and says that summer is the best time to get away from his studies and finally lose his virginity. Seeing Bonnie, an unrequited high school sweetheart, nearby, the boy rushes over to talk to her but suffers another setback due to his fear and insecurity in dealing with girls. In the evening, Bobby, Jack and his older brother Billy are going to a brothel. Billy arranges with the owner of the brothel that she will find decent girls for the boys, who can give them their first sexual experience. Jack gets a date with an experienced blonde, and Bobby gets Anna Maria with big breasts. Expectations and reality turned out to be far apart, as Louise turned out to be a dominant lover who nailed Jack with leather straps to a circle instead of a bed. The guy fled, realizing he wasn't ready for that kind of experimentation. Bobby was much more lucky, but he was so nervous that he first passed out and then fell asleep on the lush breasts of the beauty. The next morning, Bobby's father calls him to discuss his poor French test results. The father wants the boy to score at least 85 points, which would allow him to enter Yale University. The man studied there and is sure that his son must follow in his footsteps and become a fine lawyer. He arranged for Bobby to retake the exam at the end of the summer and to spend those months with the best French tutor in America. Upon meeting Terry Green, Mr. Chrystal promises the woman not only a standard salary, but also a bonus of $10,000 if his son passes the exam with flying colors. Bobby meets Terry and is disappointed, as his original plans for the summer were ruined. The boy had hoped to be able to lose his virginity and spend time with his friends, but instead he's forced to study a language that's difficult and incomprehensible to him. The first lessons don't go very well because Bobby isn't focused on his studies, and he's much more interested in talking to his teacher. In the course of the conversation, the boy learns that Terry has recently broken up with her boyfriend, and she's 29 years old. In the evening, the friends set out again to find girls to take their virginity. Billy makes a deal with a waitress at a local cafe, who's willing to satisfy the guys in the back for a small fee. Bobby was lucky enough to be the first, but at the most inopportune moment, a crowd of bikers arrived at the cafe. It turns out that one of them is the waitress's boyfriend and is willing to kill anyone she cheats on him with. Bobby is disinterested in meeting the biker and at first hides under a car and then escapes, miraculously surviving. Upon returning home, the schoolboy can't sleep and decides to take a walk around the property. When he hears a noise near the pool, he goes that way and sees Terry, who decided to swim naked. Bobby spies on the teacher and peeks out of the window, admiring the woman's forms. The next morning during class, instead of solving the test, Bobby fell asleep. He imagines making love to Terry on the kitchen table, but he soon realizes that he's dreaming. After freshening up a bit in the pool, the boy confesses that he dreams of becoming an astronaut, and he's not at all interested in French and Yale University. Terry supports his desire to be independent, but all she cares about is that the guy passes the exam. A couple of days later, Bobby meets Jack, and the guys watch the girls doing aerobics. Jack is thrilled by the spectacle and is ready to have a private lesson with each one of them to finally lose his virginity. Making some progress, Bobby scores an 80, and Terry invites the guy to a restaurant to celebrate. The couple has a drink and a nice chat when suddenly Terry's ex shows up and decides to patch things up. Luckily, Sylvester is too busy with work, and while he's on the phone, the couple runs off. A wealthy man stalks the schoolboy's moped and writes down the vehicle's license plate number to find Bobby's residential address. Continuing to experience sexual fantasies, the boy returns home and once again spies on the teacher bathing naked in the pool. Then Bobby loses sight of Terry, and at one point she sneaks up behind the guy, asking him not to follow her anymore. In the afternoon, the schoolboy sees a teacher with Sylvester and interferes in their dialogue by making the woman jealous. In the evening, he and his friends go off to a women's wrestling match in the dirt, but once again we're in for a complete bummer. Strongly aroused, Billy and Jack got in the ring with the girls and the guards threw them out of the bar. After the show, the guys tried to get to know the hotties again, but narrowly escaped a fight with their suitors. Meanwhile, Terry came to visit her boyfriend, but he wouldn't open the door for her. Sylvester's car was parked in the garage and the woman headed for it, only to catch him cheating. Upon returning home, Bobby noticed that the teacher was sad and decided to cheer her up. The guy couldn't sleep at night and decided to go swimming in the pool with Terry. Without pushing the schoolboy away, the woman kisses him and drags him into the bedroom to make love, becoming Bobby's first experience. A few days later, Bobby celebrates his birthday by throwing a party in the backyard. Mr. Chrystal invites Terry over for a chat, during which she confesses that he wants to make love to her. The teacher rejects the rich man because she's not a property and doesn't like men who think that with money they're allowed everything. Bonnie is also present at the party and notices that Bobby has changed a little. He's become more masculine and more confident with girls. In the evening, Bobby visits his teacher again to spend the night with her. Terry thinks that dating should stop because the guy might fall in love and the breakup will be painful for him. Bobby reassures the teacher by telling her that he's a gentle boy and a strong and insensitive man. The woman returns the boy's words and they spend the night together again. In the morning, Bobby escapes to his bedroom so his parents won't notice his absence. A little later, Sylvester arrives at the house to talk to Terry again. Standing up for the girl, Bobby decides to chase the insolent man away. At first, Sylvester didn't want to leave because he's ready for a fight and has a black belt in karate. But the revolver convinced him to change his mind. At the lingerie store, Bobby says that he has an experienced lover and buys a special gift for her. The guy is completely satisfied with Terry in bed, but wants to improve his skills and spends all of his free time studying books with different poses. He looks at them so enthusiastically that he doesn't notice Bonnie. The girl sees what kind of literature the schoolboy is into and makes new conclusions about him. In the evening, the boy's parents go out to friends, and he spends time with Terry, continuing to amaze her with everything he learned in the past few days. A couple of days later, Sylvester follows Terry and Bobby again to talk to the girl. The teacher confesses that she's having an affair with a schoolboy. The angry Sylvester does everything he can to stop them, but they end up in a car accident, smashing up a brand new Porsche. The next morning, Bobby's parents leave for another city for a few days. The couple decides to use this to be alone, and the guy lets the housekeeper and the gardener go. In the evening, Billy and Jack arrive at their friend's house for another adventure and possibly first sexual experience. Hearing a woman moaning, the brothers sneak up to the window and spot Bobby satisfying the teacher. Jack realizes that he's the last virgin left and is ready to go to Mexico just to fix it as soon as possible. Soon the parents return home and organize dinner. Bobby finally decides to talk to his father and confesses that he dreams of becoming an astronaut. Conflict begins between them, and Terry strokes the boy under the table to calm down and to agree with his father. The last lesson comes to an end, and Bobby goes back to his bedroom. As he says goodbye to Terry, he kisses the woman, unaware that his father is watching the whole thing from the window. The next morning, Bobby takes the French test and gets a 91. He spends the weekend with a woman he loves, but she informs him that she's leaving to visit her parents in France. When he returns home, the schoolboy tells his father that he's old enough to be independent, so he will decide where to study. In turn, Mr. Chrystal tells his son that Terry has been working with him for money and will get $10,000 for it. Bobby thinks that their intimacy had nothing to do with love, but rather Terry's greed, and tells her everything he thinks about it. After leaving home, the guy has an accident and crashes his moped. At night, he visits Bonnie and, thanks to his newfound confidence, seduces the girl and spends the night with her. In the morning, he returns home and says goodbye to Terry, apologizing for his behavior. They promise never to forget each other and kiss goodbye. Terry leaves and Bobby jumps with happiness, realizing that he has a bright future ahead of him. And that's the end of the movie. Thanks for watching!